With a 27-inch Quad HD OLED display, a 360Hz refresh rate with 2 HDMI 2.1 ports and 1 DisplayPort 1.4, and also ambiglow lighting, the Philips Evnia 27M2N8500 Gaming is a feature-rich monitor that comes at an attractive price of under £500, so let's check out what this thing can do. So here we have the Evnia 27M2N8500, and it uses the 3rd generation Samsung QD-OLED panel, and it offers an incredible 360Hz refresh rate as well as 1000 nits of peak brightness, making it a great choice for the gamers. Now we've got a nice silver design here with minimal bezels all round and then a small chin at the bottom, featuring the Evnia and the Philips logo. We also get the triangular compact style stand, which doesn't take up much space on the desk, and it offers height, tilt and swivel adjustments, and while there's no rotation to put the screen in portrait mode, it does come with a VESA mount adapter, so you can attach it to any VESA stand you want. Now on the rear, we've got the LEDs that make up the Philips ambiglow lighting, and it allows you to have static colors or some different color lighting effects. And of course, we've also got the follow video mode, and this takes the colors from what's on the display. And I have to say, this is the mode I use as it just adds a lot more immersion, whether that's for games or media. The only button you'll find on the monitor is also the power button on the back, and it's a joystick type design so you can reach behind and navigate the menus, and I found it really easy to use. When it comes to inputs, you've got 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, we get 1 DisplayPort 1.4, there's a USB up which feeds the 2 5GB per second USB-A ports, and one of them is a fast charge port as well, and then we've also got the audio out. So of course these ports mean it's suitable for both computers and consoles. So when it comes to gaming that this monitor is designed for, not only does it look incredible, but of course we can push the FPS high for buttery smooth gameplay, providing your PC is powerful enough to do this. When it comes to FPS games or competitive games like Rocket League, where you really do get an advantage with higher FPS, it really does perform well. Now unfortunately, of course, my camera's recording at 60 frames a second, so you're not going to be able to see this buttery smoothness, but it does give you an advantage and it just makes for a much nicer experience. And there are plenty of people out there that say you can't notice more than 120Hz, but I think that is completely wrong, as there is a clear difference visually and just inputs seem instant. Of course, being an OLED display, it also means we get an infinite contrast ratio due to the pixels turning off and creating true blacks, and it just looks great in dark scenes as well as light, and it's also got a glossy panel which I prefer. I generally game and use the computer in dimly lit environments, but thanks to 1000 nits of peak brightness, it's perfectly fine if you've got a little bit of light coming in as well. But of course, being a glossy screen, I wouldn't sit right next to a window, but you can see even in this office setup here, close to the window in daylight, it still looks great. And if you're a PC gamer, it doesn't really matter if you're Team Red or Team Green either, as we've got support for both Nvidia's G-Sync and AMD's FreeSync to deliver that smooth gaming experience you're after. We've also got the ultra-low input lag mode for the gamers, and that paired with the high refresh rate just makes everything feel lightning fast. Your inputs are pretty much instantly carried out on the screen, so there's no more excuses for missing that headshot. Now with AMD FreeSync or Nvidia's G-Sync, the ultra-low input lag mode isn't actually selectable, but switching between these modes and the ultra-low input lag mode, I didn't really see a difference. We've also got plenty of smart image modes that you can pick from, so we've got things for FPS, racing, and there's even a smart crosshair that's going to change color depending on the background color. And for those of you that suffer with eye strain, we've also got the low blue mode as well. But personally, I've just never struggled with eye strain when using displays, so I can't comment on that. Now, of course, the resolution of the monitor is 2560 by 1440 as it's Quad HD, and in terms of all the technical color spaces in testing, I don't have the equipment to test that, but there are plenty of sources online that have already done so if there's something that you need to know. When it comes to the menu, it's a joypad on the back that's actually quite easy to navigate. The first section is the smart images, and this lets you select between all of the preset color modes, and I like that you can also customize each one in here as well. Game mode lets you enable or disable adaptive syncs, and then add crosshair, which also makes a smart crosshair that, as we said, changes color depending on the background. And then you've also got shadow boost, smart sniper if you want that extra zoom, and then low input lag mode. For ambiglow, you've got all of these different options here like color breathing and wave, etc. But as I said, I prefer the follow mode as it just adds a lot more immersion and it takes advantage of the LEDs around the edge. Next, we've also got the inputs, the audio settings. System is for all of your system stuff, but under setup, we've got all of the OLED panel care, and this can be quite important. Now, of course, all of the default settings are pretty much set exactly as you want. You've got things like screensavers, pixel orbiting, and the pixel refresh enabled, and I highly recommend that you just leave all this as is if you don't know what you're doing, as it prevents any burn-in on the display. Now, I've got so many OLED displays around the home now, and not one of them has ever suffered with burn-in thanks to things like these pixel refreshes that it does when they're turned off. But it's just worth pointing out that you should leave them on to ensure that that doesn't happen. However, Philips do also provide a 3-year warranty, which includes burn-in coverage. Now, that's pretty much it for the menu, and Philips also offer their smart control software for those of you that would prefer to change settings in Windows instead of the monitor, and it basically gives you everything I've just showed you, but in the application. When it comes to the unboxing, if we open it up, you can see we've first got the manual, the quick start guide, and the certificates. Next up, we've got the USB upstream cable, which is a USB-A to the monitor's USB-B. We've then got the HDMI 2.1 cable. We also get a DisplayPort 1.4 cable. We've then got the base to the monitor stand, some screws for those of you that are going to be using the VESA mounting. We've got a UK power cable as well as an EU power cable, the vertical part of the stand that holds onto the monitor, and next up we've got the VESA adapter for those of you using VESA mounts. Now finally, we've got the monitor, and rather than take it straight out of the packaging, I prefer to leave it in place, leave it inside this packaging to protect it. I can then attach the vertical part of the stand, attach the base to that, screw it up with my hand, and I'm fully assembled, so all I need to do now is pick the whole thing up, place it on my desk where it needs to go, and then wire it in. So overall, I think this Philips Evnia gaming monitor is a great choice for gamers, as it offers the beautiful OLED display with a whopping 360Hz refresh rate, and it's also priced incredibly competitively at just under £500. If you're not a gamer, then you're probably going to benefit with a cheaper display that doesn't offer these ridiculously high refresh rates, as you're not going to need them. But if you are a gamer, it's hard to find another monitor with this feature set and cheaper. So of course, I've placed the link down in the description below where you can go ahead and grab your monitor today. And hopefully I've covered everything in today's video, but if there is anything I've missed or you've got any questions, then just ask them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech.